So Bitcoin was launched in 2009, Ethereum in 2015. The industry is 15 years old. For the first time in the industry, real businesses are being built on chain. So for any of your listeners who were around in the early days of the internet in the 80s, right? It took from 1980 to 1995 to really get Netscape and browsers and things like that. We're at the browser moment for crypto. So real businesses are being built on chain. I think it's fair to say on chain is the new online. And I wasn't around in the 90s building companies, but I think you used to say, oh, one of those internet businesses. Now you just say it's a business, right? And I think today a lot of people look at the industry and say, look, it's one of those crypto businesses, right? And I think tomorrow it's just a business.
In this insightful interview, Jason Yanowitz dives into the evolving world of cryptocurrency, explaining why we're entering a pivotal moment in the industry's history. He discusses how real businesses are finally being built on-chain, marking a browser moment for crypto that parallels the rise of the internet in the 1990s. Jason also unpacks the implications of a pro-Bitcoin US government, the potential for groundbreaking crypto regulations, and what it means for America to become a global crypto superpower. Stick around until the end to hear Jason's bold take on the future of Bitcoin, why skepticism is fading, and how the US is poised to lead the next wave of innovation in blockchain technology. Also guys, if you like our cryptocurrency content, please remember to like and subscribe to stay up to date. Now, over to Jason.
There isn't a major event on the horizon, or am I wrong?
I think you're wrong here. So if we're looking at just Bitcoin as an asset class, right? So I've been in the industry almost full time for 8 years. Every couple months, it feels like there's another thing on the horizon, but maybe it's already priced in. And I'm a very strong believer that this is not priced in. So the big event that's obviously coming up is the inauguration of President Trump in a couple of days, right? So we're recording this on January 14th. There are a couple reasons why Bitcoin just fell from 107 down to 90K. And I think today we're trading up to around 96 or 97. First reason, and not to dumb it down too much, is, this is an asset that just went up 100% in 60 days. I think we're due for a little bit of a pullback. But the probably more intelligent takes are, I think all risk assets just pulled back a little bit. Bitcoin tends to be the most sensitive to changes in global liquidity. And so I think that was one of the main reasons we saw a pullback. But the other thing that maybe folks aren't as familiar with if you don't work in the industry is there was a sense that investors in the industry, whether that was family offices, venture firms, hedge funds, everybody kind of expected this post-inauguration pullback, right? Because starting from January of 2024, we saw such a violent move to the upside. Bitcoin's gone from 40K to about 107K in about a year, right? So everyone was kind of expecting this buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. The news being, right, Trump actually moving into office. So I think everyone was expecting a pullback upon the inauguration. What we have now, though, was this kind of washout earlier than the inauguration, right? Bitcoin pulled back from 107 back to 90. This is very healthy, I would say. And for me, I've done a 180 in what I think will happen in a week, which is I think Trump's inauguration has flipped from this kind of bearish event, sell the news, sell the inauguration, into a very bullish catalyst.
There's still a lot of changes that need to be implemented. We've talked about changes over the campaign trail. The SEC obviously will be changing chairs, but regulations actually need to be penciled in, right? So what are the major changes that you are expecting or are looking forward to first in the first 3 months or so?
Yeah, okay, so we can talk about the first 100 days, but I think it's important not to overthink this one too much, right? So the single biggest takeaway, and if people turn off their ears for the rest of this podcast, is the US is now favorable towards crypto for the first time in history, right? And I don't think I can stress that enough. A lot of people, I think, are overthinking this. We have a pro-Bitcoin president for the first time in U.S. history. So that is what that's just the highlight at the top of the ticker. It's also not just about Trump, right? We have the most pro-crypto Congress in history. We elected, I think it was 278 pro-crypto candidates to the House. We elected 20 pro-crypto candidates to the Senate. So historically, my entire time building Blockworks, DC has been a headwind, and we have very quickly flipped to DC being a tailwind. And yeah, like you mentioned, we have a new SEC, we have a Treasury Secretary who is, just revealed that he owns about $500,000 of Bitcoin. So right out of the gate, it's very exciting. If you look at Trump's first 100 days, I think there is two ways to bucket it. So what is already, I think it's important to just look at what has already happened, right? So what has already happened is we've already established a crypto advisory council to work with Congress, industry leaders, and regulators. We have a new SEC chair. We have new leadership at the Treasury. And I think there's a lot of conversation and some documents getting unveiled already about kind of Operation Choke Point 2.0. So I think the easy things right out of the gate, new SEC chair, new leadership at Treasury, and a crypto advisory council, and then just the end of debanking of crypto companies. But if you ask me what I would really wish for, definitely market infrastructure bill. Either the market infrastructure bill or the stablecoin bill getting passed. I think both of those would be great. Even just one of those we would take. I would say clear regulation for tokens. What has happened that I'm not sure if your audience is familiar with is most of the crypto companies have been pushed offshore. A lot of the really good founders I know have been forced to move to places like Dubai, the UAE, Singapore, right? They've been pushed to Asia and the Middle East to build their companies. And so what we're starting to see now is kind of a new onshoring of crypto companies, which is very exciting.
Which is a challenge for Trump, because he said that he wants to make America the #1 place for not just Bitcoin mining, but crypto transactions and development overall.
I'm laying out my plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world, and we'll get it done.
Jason addresses skepticism surrounding former President Trump's pro-Bitcoin stance, highlighting parallels with figures like Larry Fink, who shifted from criticizing Bitcoin to championing it. Jason explains that even if Trump's views fluctuate, the broader landscape is already transforming, with significant crypto-friendly changes underway. He emphasizes the impact of the new SEC chair, Paul Atkins, who is likely to introduce pro-crypto policies and move away from regulation by enforcement. This shift, coupled with the establishment of a crypto advisory council and supportive leadership in the Treasury, signals a more favorable environment for crypto in the US. Jason predicts that ETF approvals for assets beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum, such as Ripple and Solana, are highly likely, further legitimizing the industry. Despite past regulatory missteps targeting good actors instead of bad ones, Jason asserts that the foundations for a crypto-friendly future are firmly in place, making it increasingly difficult to reverse progress.
I wonder, though, and some people wonder, skeptics of Trump's plan would ask, look, Jason, maybe he's going to flip-flop because he hasn't always been pro-Bitcoin. Take a look at some of the statements he's made in the past, for example, right? This is a 2019 tweet that he made. I'm not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are not money and whose value is highly volatile and based on thin air. Unregulated crypto assets can facilitate unlawful behavior, including drug trade and other illegal activity. I mean, this sounds awfully familiar. We've heard this before. I wonder what's changed and if he's actually had a change of heart, or, I'll let you address this.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of someone else, right? Larry Fink, right? Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, said Bitcoin is only used for money laundering. And now, he has changed his tune. And I think the Bitcoin ETF was probably the most successful ETF in the history of ETF launches. I think it pulled over $40 billion in its first year, right? Across all the ETFs. I'm not sure exactly about IBIT. So I think Trump has changed his tune, even if Trump didn't change his tune, by the way, David. So I mentioned the Treasury Secretary. We also have a new SEC chair, right? Paul Atkins. Paul Atkins was actually the previous SEC commissioner from 2002 to 2008. And just having Gensler out and Atkins in, that alone is a massive change for the industry, right? Atkins will probably shift away from this like regulation by enforcement strategy that Gensler did. He'll introduce crypto-friendly policies, right? That'll kind of boost the industry, make it more competitive in the global market. I would say ETF approvals will happen, right? Right now we only have Bitcoin and ETH. I would say it's very likely we'll get things like maybe a Ripple ETF and or a Solana ETF. I think deregulation is possible. And then I think enforcement, right? We do need real rules and real regulations in the industry. Unfortunately, Gensler focused on actually some of the good actors, right, going after companies like Coinbase and Kraken, and did not go after the bad actors, folks like FTX. So, look, could Trump change his tune? He could. I don't think he will. But even if he did change his tune, there are so many things that have been put in place: a crypto advisory council, new Treasury Secretary who loves Bitcoin, new SEC chair who loves Bitcoin. It's going to be pretty tough to fight this industry.
As we conclude this engaging conversation with Jason Yanowitz, it's clear that the cryptocurrency industry is at a transformative moment. From Bitcoin's growing institutional adoption to the rise of stablecoins and on-chain businesses, Jason highlights how the landscape is rapidly evolving. His insights into the regulatory shifts, technological advancements, and the future of digital assets reveal a compelling path forward for the industry. This discussion reminds us that understanding these changes is crucial for anyone looking to thrive in the digital economy of tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments section below.